So now I have recorded all of my transactions in the general journal, and I've also done them in T accounts. I've added everything, I put everything in T accounts, and I've got totals for my accounts, and so I've done all that, everything that way. The problem with both of these methods here, first of all, with the general journal, this account here, it's all very well, but it shows me how much cash I add. The second cash transaction, I don't know what my cash is here, and on down here, when I bought this truck, at this point I have no idea where my cash is at. I'm not keeping track of how much I have in my cash account, and that's something that, as a business person, I might want to refer to that. I might want to find out, well, I might want to look over and see, well, how much do I have in my cash right now? And so it's important for me to keep track of that and to see what my balance is. And the T account does that to a certain extent, but not really. You have to add it all up at the end. And so people doing accounting also use ledger accounts. We're going to talk about these right now. What I need to do now is to post what's called posting accounts from the general journal to the general ledger. So I'm just going to do that with this account here. So first I'm going to start with cash, and I'm going to look over here, my chart of accounts. It's account 111, and I can find that in my general journal. There's my cash account. I'm going to do the date just like I did in the general journal, the day there. I don't need to use this explanation column until later on when I'm closing. We'll discuss that later on. This posting reference is General Journal 1. This is a debit of $150,000. Let me explain this posting reference as well. In the General Journal, I'm going to write the posting reference for the ledger account and use the account number there. That way, when I'm looking through my general journal and I have this number, I can trace it back to where it came from. It came from my general ledger, account 111. And the same way, if I'm looking for my general ledger and I want to figure out this debit of $150,000, I want to be able to find that in my general journal. So I can look here at the posting reference. Might also need the date, general journal May 1, and then I can look and say, okay, general journal May 1, and I can find that cash transaction there. And that way everything's connected, and I can see how everything connects. So now I need to post my capital account here. It's account 511. Go here and come over here and look at all my general ledger. Here's account 511. There it is. And so I'll put the day there. May 1, no explanation still, General Journal 1, credit of $150,000. The other thing that's important about the general ledger is that it's got this balance column here. And if this is a debit account, I'm only ever going to use this debit column. It's credit column account, I'll use the credit column. So cash, we'll remember it's an asset, and hopefully you've memorized by now that AWE, after we eat, let's read comics, and so cash is an asset, and so I know it's one of the first three, and so it goes in this debit column here. So there we go. And with capital, it's much the same thing except it's credit. And since this is a first transaction, whatever it's zero before, and I'm going to add this amount here and get my balance. This will be clear once we do our second transaction here. So let me put the posting reference for that. Next I need to do landscaping supplies, and this really should be supplies rather than services. Landscaping supplies, $2,000. Cash goes out down $2,000. Now I'm going to post this. Landscaping supplies, account 141. Come over here. There's account 141. 14. May. What's the date? May 6. And no explanation. General Journal, page 1. Debit of $2,000. Debit of $2,000. And over here, I'll put the posting reference 141. Now I'm going back to cash. I've spent $2,000 worth of cash. So here, and in this column, I can again just put the date. Still General Journal, page 1. But this time, you can see it's a credit. That amount has gone down. But now in the debit column, I'm going to figure out what my new balance is. This is a debit account. I had $150,000 in there before. I'm going to subtract $2,000 from that number. And then I can put $148,000. And so now this shows the balance that's available in my cash account. It was $150 before, now it's $2,000. I'm going to keep this running balance of cash at all times, and really of all my accounts. I'm going to keep this balance of where my account is at. Now I know this account is at $148,000. So now I've posted this second transaction here. Now it's time for the third. Advertising expense. See, that's account 311. Come over here, find account 311, advertising expense. The date on that was May the 7th. And I'd recommend as you're doing this might be a good time for it, that you look and see how your papers are laid out on your desk. Because you're going to be flipping back and forth between these sheets the way I'm flipping back and forth between my sheets here. And so you want to think about whether things are laid out well. This one again, it's a debit of $150. That's all I had, so there's my debit account. And yep, I've got the right posting, and then I'm going to do cash. Well, by now I've learned that's account 111. 111 there. Over to my general ledger. There's account 111. And this is again May 7. General Journal 150. So now this is not a zero balance. I'm going to have to subtract that $148,000 minus $150. That leaves us with only $147 and $850, or $147,850. That's what I have in my cash account. I'm going to do the next. Now I'm going to post transaction number 4. This is the truck. The truck account is account 151. Come over to my ledger.